Today I wanted to talk about my morning routine. Now, my morning routine is something that is for health, but it's more for my sanity. I've talked a little bit about my addiction problems and how I'm sober now and I'm working on that day by day. But if I don't do my morning routine, it sets me up for much more struggle throughout the day. So I wake up extra early so that I can get through all of these things. I've been waking up usually around 4:30 or even 4 o'clock so that I can have at least an hour, hour and a half to go through these things to start my day in a way that helps me be a better person and helps me stave off the thinking that drives me into my addictions. So what's my morning routine? Well, the first thing that I do when I wake up is, number one, is pray. Now, I do several different prayers to start off the day, but the first one that I start off with is basically trying to, grant me serenity. The serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's just, again, giving me this serenity, trying to, ask for that guidance and that courage. I also talk about sanity. Please restore me to sanity, and also giving my life and my will over to God. It's God's will, not mine. So I say some prayers along that line that kind of helps my mentality wake up in the right way, connecting with God. Then I move on to number two, meditate. So these two things at the beginning, these are musts. I have to do these two to start the day, or like I said, or else my brain goes off to the races. So this helps start my day, and I have to pray and meditate throughout the day. I do these things more than just at the start, but the start of the day for me is so important because I can go downhill quickly. So I meditate, I do a breathing awareness meditation. I've mentioned this before. I basically just focus on my breathing. As I breathe in, I say, I am not this body. As I exhale, I am not this mind. Second inhale, I am not this body. As I exhale that second time, I am not even these thoughts. So back and forth between I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not this body, I am not even these thoughts. And what I try to do is get a little bit of separation from myself, my body, my mind, my thoughts, and just kind of stay in that gap between things, because I can react. I can, be negative. I can, think things. I can say things. I can, feel things. And it's so challenging to live life if we're constantly connected to those things and feel like they're super real. I believe that there's a greater consciousness around us and living through us. And if I can connect to that, the thing that kind of is sitting behind all of that, as opposed to being so focused on the material world, the physical reality, I find that my problems, my issues, whatever it is, how big it is, it doesn't seem to be that bad. So meditation for me is paramount. The next thing I do, I just do a little bit of like rolling or stretching. I don't do too much of that. Let's see if I know how to spell stretch. I don't do a lot of it, but so just to get the body just kind of loosened up. That helps my breathing for my next thing that I'm going to talk about. But I like to just kind of roll around on the ground, roll around on a foam roller, do a little bit of massage if anything's tight, maybe do a little stretching, open up the hips because if I've been in that positioning. But it's really just waking things up, even just one of these, all right, just to open up the body. But I like to get a little bit of massage in through my back, all right, because that helps open up my lungs, my rib cage, so that my lungs can get in the oxygen for my fourth thing on here, which is a cold shower. So I've talked about the cold before in another video, but this one is really a reminder for me to surrender to God's will. So that's what I use it as. I use it more for a spiritual practice, not so much of a physical practice. There's tons of benefits to the physical act of cold exposure, cold showers, ice baths, things like that. But for me, it's a spiritual experience where I get in that cold and it is terrible. And I repeat to myself, God, I surrender to your will. Let this cold be a reminder that I should always surrender to your will, because I surrender to this cold. So as I surrender to this cold, let me surrender to your will. So I use that as a moment to start my day of, I can't control the things that happen on in life. the things that I can control, my actions, I want to control, but let it be through God's will that I am able to surrender to the greater, scheme of things, what He wants for me versus what I want. My selfish needs and wants have led me down terrible, terrible paths, and I don't want that for my life anymore. Like I said, I'm trying to change, and I'm trying to do that day by day, and I need this reminder constantly. So I start off with that cold shower. I usually finish with warm, but I start off with that, and that breath goes, all right, and you really have to surrender to that cold. That's what I learned from Wim Hof. That's his teacher. The cold is his teacher. And I surrender to the cold. I connect to my higher power about surrendering to His will. And that allows me to, again, get in that mindset. And then I can finish with warm, and just take a normal shower. But I like to start with that because it's the biggest shock to my system. And then it really wakes me up. So that's another thing. It helps me feel good because once you're done with that, you feel like $1,000,000. So I love the physical sensation, but the mental for me, like I've been saying, this is really crucial for me. So fifth, I like to read. I don't always get to do these last two. But I like to read in the morning. I have something written down. It's just read at least one page. So I like to read something, one page, whether that's a book, an email, something positive. If I get different, inspirational things like that, But usually I have a book by my desk, and I'll read something of whatever, right? But at least one page. Usually I'll spend a little bit more time. That's why I've been waking up earlier, because I like to get a little bit more in. But usually nonfiction, something psychology, philosophy, physiology, things that I'm interested in. But I like to get that in. And then I also like to journal or write. So I like to write and journal. So I write ideas down. I write ideas down for videos. I just do some basic journaling. Maybe my dream from the night before, or what I want to set out for the day, or something that I learned from the day before. But usually after I go through this process, my brain is very, very, sharp. It's very, very woken up. It's very, very clear. So I have a lot of good thoughts. The negative thoughts haven't started creeping in from the day of people pissing me off and cutting me off in traffic and stubbing my toe on this and that. You know what I mean? The daily things that life throws at us. I tend to be the sharpest in the morning. So that's why I like to do some writing and some journaling. And I tend to have some pretty good ideas then. So I don't always get to these two, but I have to have usually these four. I have to start with prayer and meditation. Sometimes I don't get to do some more of the stretching. Again, it can be light. It can be very, very easy. Don't spend a lot of time there. I get my cold start in the shower. I start with the cold, get my breathing in there, get my little bit more prayer there. I like to do some reading. I like to do some writing. Sometimes I flip them where I do more writing to start. I've got a lot of ideas after coming out of that shower. I start writing, and then I finish with some reading. But that's my main thing. I might add in oil pulling. I might do some oil pulling with coconut oil in my mouth and clean my teeth. I might do some other things, supplements like I've taken some liver enzymes and stuff like that. Not liver enzymes, some liver herbs that are good for your liver. So those things are just normal stuff in the morning, water in the morning. But these are things for my spirit, for my soul, to start my day in a way that is going to help me be a better person for anyone that I interact with, whether it's a client, whether it's a friend, whether it's anyone on the street. These are essential for me. So just going over those quickly: pray, meditate, roll, stretch out, cold shower, start that off, finish with the warm shower, do some reading, do some writing and some journaling. And I feel way better about starting my day once I get that in. That's why I've been waking up early. I was waking up at 5. I either have clients at 6 or I have a meeting at 6. So I've been waking up that. Then I started waking up at 4:45. Then it was 4:30. And usually now I'm waking up around 4 before my alarm, because I look forward to this, because I know how valuable it is to me and how essential it is for me to be able to get these things in to start my day the right way. So doesn't mean that I don't use prayer and meditation throughout the day, but I do. But I like to start my day with this process. I might have more things on here down the line, but for right now, this is my morning routine. Hope you got something out of that. And until next time, I'll see you.